Hey,
Hey, there it goes.
hello.
Hello. So, the May book pick in June, because I didn't trust myself to read it before then, to be fair. I
I
literally
mean,
read
I
it in the
only read it on
last.
Friday, so.
There you go. Do you know when you said that? That actually made me feel so much better because I was like, oh my god, I've got 50 pages to go. How am I going to. And literally, other than that, I'd like devoured it as an audiobook. So I was like, okay, we've got time. I can pace myself the last 50 pages. Um, Without so we'll do like a quick non-spoilery bit, and then we'll
Hmm.
do straight into spoilers because those are the bits that I love discussing. What did you
Okay.
end up rating Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood?
I gave it 4 stars.
Okay.
So not one of my favorite Ali Hazelwood books. Um, I think because the female main character is so emotionally distant, which is like
Hmm.
such like a big part of her character, and there's reasons why I like that representation as her, like as a female main character. But I
Hmm.
think in the context of a romance, it took me a lot longer to warm up to the relationship because she was so emotionally distant. So, yeah, I mean, it's still Ali Hazelwood, so I still love it in terms of like the writing style and stuff. It's just
Hmm.
not a favorite Ali Hazelwood. Like, I still really enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoy her more sex-forward romances as much as I enjoy the more like rom-com style ones, so that may have something to do with it. But yeah, aside from that, it was pretty solid.
That's fair. I mean, to be fair, I remember you saying on, I can't remember if it was on one of your recent videos or a live show, where you're talking about like the sex forward romances just haven't really been your thing recently anyway. That's just not.
Mm,
And when I was like,
no.
when I realised just how BDSM this book was going to be, I was like, actually, that's a choice considering like, how are
Yeah.
you finding like reading romance at the moment? Like, where is it? Was it one that you would recommend more than others you've read recently, or is it the sex forward stuff is kind of in the way?
I think even though I think that Ali Hazelwood still does a really good job of writing chemistry, so I would say like it was more enjoyable for me than the average, like more sex forward, like smut heavy romance. I'm trying to think of what I've read recently. I think I've done quite well with reading. The only actually other sex forward romance I've read, I think this year is Deep End, also by Ali Hazelwood. Which I did prefer this one a little bit more, but actually not because of the romantic relationship. Sorry, I've still got a bit of a cough.
No, okay.
Um, it was because I was actively annoyed by one specific character in Deep End, whereas this one didn't do anything that was annoying me while I was
Okay,
reading
that's
it.
good.
So I
That's a good
enjoyed this one
start.
more than Deep End. But yeah, no, it's still like I still think that she has really great chemistry. I still love all of her love interests. Like we love a man who falls first, and this guy falls pretty much on page one, which is nice.
Obsessed day dot.
So
Yeah.
yeah, all of that was great.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. I think I'm with you. I gave it 5 stars, but then my
Hmm.
rating system is pretty much every book I enjoy lives at 4 stars. But if I actively like, if I cry or if I audibly laugh, it gets a 5 stars.
Mm.
And there was one
Okay.
bit that I genuinely chuckled like out loud to myself in the car. Was like, okay, it's a 5 stars because it's kind of like pushed it to that. But I can absolutely. It would be really interesting to see when we get into the spoilery bit, like what specifically.
Hmm.
And I agree with you because I've had when we did Love Theoretically, there were so many things that irritated me. I was like characters and like plot points that are irritating
Yeah.
me that then kind of brings it down. But it's never going to be super low because it's Sally Hazelwood, and I was like, I
No.
know, I just trust that I'm going to enjoy this writing style. It's going to be a good time. But I
What
have
Ali Hazelwood books have you read so far? Because I haven't been
so
keeping track of where you're up
we've
to.
done Love Theoretically, Check and Mate. What was the other one we did? Oh, we've definitely done another one. I need to get my spreadsheet out. How do I not remember this? They're literally right there. Um, this might be my third one actually. No, this might I might be. Oh, and Two Can Play. That's why I couldn't remember because it's the little novella one that's in the
Oh,
middle.
because it's so
So that's why I
short.
was
Okay.
like, yeah. Literally, the live shows for these have been like an hour and 20 minutes max. Two Can Play was half an
Okay.
hour, and Kelly and I were like, "It's great," and
Wow.
then that was it. Like nothing else to say, like
What's
because it's so
what's
condensed.
your ranking so far?
Um, I would probably say that Not in Love and Checkmate are tied for top at the moment. But that might
Okay.
change once I've discussed it because I found that Checkmate, I was like, this is nice, but talking about it made it go up. And I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember doing the live show where we talked about I can't remember what the book was called. It was something like the Town Bones or something that was the really creepy
Oh,
like
yeah,
church thriller
for
one. Yeah,
yeah. I
the
don't
one.
remember much about it because it's like a thriller, so but it had like
Yeah,
religious stuff in it, right? And like
yeah,
there was a brother and
yeah.
a sister. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember like because I was texting Kelly because it was the one we did for Velvet for the Lamentable Library, and Kelly and I being
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, this is like really fun and spooky," like enjoying it as we read it, and then like sitting down and talking to you, and you were like, "Oh, but the racism," and we were like, "Huh, yeah, no, I hadn't
Mm.
even," and it's like it brought it down. Like the more we talked about it, the more I hated it. Um,
Yeah.
I I found that with Checkmate it was kind of the reverse. The more I talked about it, the more I liked it. I like both of them because they're so refreshing in comparison to Love on the Brain, Love Hypothesis, and Love Theoretically that
Mm.
are so similar in plot, characters, and kind of like the tropes that
Yeah.
they lean into. So I think they kind of tie. But I think I would find it easier to recommend Check and Mate because it's such a soft, yearning story as opposed to
Check and Mate
whatever
was
this was.
is one of my favorites. The more that I think about Check and Mate and the longer it's been since I've read it, the more it is one of my favorites. Because I did give all of the ones that you've read. I haven't read Two Can Play yet, but Love Theoretically and Check and Mate, I gave 5 stars to both of them. But Love Theoretically, I wouldn't say is one of my favorites. Where Check and Mate, I really, really enjoyed.
That's fair. Check and Mate I gave 4.5 because it didn't make me like audibly laugh, but it was definitely better than others that I'd
Mm.
read. I did not like Love Theoretically. I found it so frustrating the whole
Oh.
way through. But interestingly, like when we come to talk spoilery, for reasons that this book seemed to clear up, because a lot of my issues were I was like, but I wanted more of this, and I wanted that to be clearer, and I wanted less of that,
Mm.
whatever. This book then delivered. So even though this was written ages ago, it was almost like Ali Hazelwood had listened to my critique and gone, okay, cool. Well, here's this version of the same story, and you'll like this more because of that. So
Yeah.
okay, let's go to spoilers then. So like the stuff, for example, that I found really irritating with Love Theoretically was that we're never really in his head until like the last
Hmm.
minute. So a lot of the choices that he makes feel really condescending and kind of patronizing, like taking her autonomy away from her, which I really didn't like.
Hmm.
Because we've got the dual POV in this one, you can see his reasoning. I found him a lot easier to be like, no, all right, okay, I can
Yeah.
see why you didn't tell her that yet, and why those
Hmm.
secrets are kept. How did you find that with like the dual POV?
So because we have Rue who's so emotionally distant, I really liked having Eli, who's pretty much on, he is called Eli, right? That's his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's on the complete opposite end of the spectrum where he's like 100% all in and he's literally obsessed with her from the second that he meets her. I did
Mm-hmm.
find though that when we got to like halfway through the book and I was warming up to the romance in general more, that I cared a lot less about his perspective because it never gave me anything more than it had always given me. So like
Mm-hmm.
he was just like 100% all in throughout the entire thing, which is
Yeah.
great, but like I didn't need him to be so dominant like throughout the whole like process of the
Mm-hmm.
book.
That's fair. That's fair. I can see why that would be almost like stunt it a little bit because you're like, well, actually, I want her inner thoughts because we get so few of
Mm,
those. Other than she's like, yeah, I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin. I genuinely
yeah,
think part of the reason I gave this 5 stars is because I related to her so much. But not because
me
I could keep my
too,
mouth shut because I can't.
unfortunately.
But
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, did I say the right thing or I've read the room wrong or like something. If I just sit here quietly, no one's gonna know how out of my depth I am.
Yeah, without getting into like some, because this is not like a deep like therapy discussion that we're having here, but I think that she has a certain combination of things going on in her life that may match up with a certain combination of things that I've had going on in my life, that it was a little bit uncomfortable to read her perspective because
Mm,
I'm like, damn, like I appreciated that because I related to it. Do I love her as a character? I don't really have that many like strong feelings
mm-hmm.
towards her. Like I liked her,
That's
but
fair.
I'm not like obsessed with her. But I was like, damn, like this is not how I want to relate to a character, if I'm being honest. This is
Yeah, it's
not what I want.
when you're like, oh, the list of like SEND issues that she's got And I'm like,
Mm,
if I relate too much, I'm gonna need to speak to my GP about certain things.
yeah.
Like it's gonna
And
need
then
to go
also
to
like
that place.
the combination of you did read her as being on the spectrum, right? Because it's
Yeah.
never explicitly stated, but to me it was also very clear.
Mhm.
But then she also has all of the history, like with her family and like neglect, and that constant thing of being like, is this because of autism or is this because of neglect? Like, is this
Mhm.
because of things that have happened in the past or is this because my brain doesn't process things normally? Like,
Yeah.
all of that kind of back and forth that she had, and the whole, like, obviously, the whole point of this is that she doesn't think that she's deserving of love because
Mhm.
the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally did not love her unconditionally.
Mhm.
So like all of like that kind of stuff and like trying to find the root of like why do I feel like this was unfortunately a little bit too too relatable for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really interesting as well that Ali Hazelwood put both of because I think Ali Hazelwood is on the spectrum, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought so. But I don't know if she's written a character that's explicitly on the spectrum before.
Not off the top of my head. I think this is the first one that I remember being specifically neurodivergent,
Yeah,
even without necessarily specifying the neurodivergence.
yeah.
Because a lot of them are physical disabilities as opposed to, or like long term illnesses as opposed to neurodivergence. I think in To Kill a
That's what I
Flame,
thought.
again, it's hinted at but not explicitly
Yeah.
said. So,
I think this is the only one that I've been like, oh, like I think that this character is neurodivergent. So I think it's interesting. I think actually that she only actually came out and said that she was neurodivergent or has only recently been diagnosed,
mm,
maybe, and that's potentially why it was more explicit in this book. Um, but the choice of having both a character that is quite clearly, at least to me, neurodivergent, and also with the trauma issues that make things like a lot more complicated, I think was a
hmm
very interesting choice and also quite rude because I felt personally attacked by by a lot of it.
like, I didn't ask to be called out like this. Like, why are you coming for me like
No,
this? It was when
yeah.
she started talking about like masking and when she I can't remember what the social situation that she's in and she's like, it would appear my mask is slipping. Like people are starting to,
Mm,
oh, I shouldn't have said that. And I was like, yeah, I could not relate to that more. Um, I just
yeah.
don't have the capacity. I wish I could keep my mouth shut. But what I do the opposite where I'm like, oh, let me tell you my entire life story. And
Mm,
then that's how like that's a normal thing to do, just to info dump my entire life at you,
yeah.
and then immediately wishing I could like backtrack all of that. So I think I respected her stoicism, because I was
Yeah.
like, I wish it could be me, but not for like the reasons it is. But yeah, so what did you think of? Because a lot of Ali Hazelwood's books have an interesting family dynamic. There's normally some relationship with a parent that's more
Mm,
specifically linked, whether it's Love Hypothesis, where it's like a lost parent, or Check and Mate, where it's like, I have a very intense family that are in my
hmm.
business all the time. Um, Only having the sibling relationship clear cut within this novel. How did you find like the actual? Was it interesting to read? Was it a kind of just a plot point? How did you feel about it?
I think it was interesting to read because I feel like it was a little bit of, once again, like a different dynamic. Like we had the neurodivergence with the trauma, and then we also had this very like broken family on, well, kind of on both sides, but the difference is that Eli has managed to kind of repair the relationship that he's had with his sister, like as she's matured, whereas Ruse is going the other way. Um, I do think that maybe that could be a reason why I didn't enjoy this one quite as much. And like, I still give it 4 stars. Okay, I still loved it, but I really like the side characters, like Mallory's sisters in Check and May. I adore
Mm-hmm.
them. They're great. So I think maybe not having, because you only have her best friend and
Mm-hmm.
also his friends that he works with. They're all like a found family kind of dynamic. Um, but yeah, maybe I missed the family dynamic a little bit. I really didn't think of that. But then I also thought once again it was kind of an interesting um choice and something a little bit different from Ali Hazelwood.
Yeah, I agree on like the difference because I thought that would have been so easy for her to have family but have them elsewhere, and then that to be a toxic
Mm.
ex-boyfriend that grabs her in the first scene.
Yes, because that was very surprising at the beginning. I thought it'd been a guy that like she because she doesn't do repeats, so I thought it'd be a
Hmm.
guy that she'd hooked up with that wanted to hook up again, and she's like, no, like I don't do
Yeah.
that. But no, it was her brother.
Yeah, I quite liked that as like not a twist
Mm.
necessarily, but as a refreshing take on it, being
Mm.
that Eli has misread the situation because he's already like, well, she's hot, so I can like, I absolutely understand why this guy is
Mm.
losing his mind over her, and also like seeing the guy as a sexual threat, and actually he's just a kind of violent threat, tantrum thrower as opposed
Hmm.
to anything that kind of insidious. Because for me, like sexual assault or anything like that is a trigger for me. I don't like reading stuff like that where it's hinted at. I
Mm.
was like, oh, what a bloody lovely time that I don't have to worry about this being a problem. Because the only other man in her life is her brother, and he just wants the house. Like he's not interested in anything else. I was like, and I can relax, which probably again added to my enjoyment of it is not having to worry
This
about
is
it. You know.
something not related to this book, but this is something that is a pet peeve of mine at the minute, is using threat of sexual assault as a way to make a character irredeemable. Like,
Mm,
there's a bad guy in a series that I've just read, and it's only when it gets to the point of like he threatens to sexually assault somebody. It's a fantasy, right?
mm,
And when it gets to that point, it's like, okay, I can kill him. And it's like he's been an asshole this whole time. Like, you didn't need
yeah,
to go that, like, you could have killed him at any point.
yeah.
We all would have celebrated. Killing is wrong, but this is a fantasy book and he's a douche and he needs to die. Like, we didn't need to
Hmm.
go that far.
Yeah, no, I am with you 100%. Have you ever read Felix Ever After? The Case and
Mm-mm.
Calendar. So it was massive, like a couple of years ago, like everyone was reading it for Pride Month. And it is about a trans
Hmm.
character in a kind of like love triangle where they're like in love with their best friend, but then they start a relationship with their bully who doesn't know that it's like an online relationship, doesn't know it's them that they're messaging, and they kind of fall in love with both of them, and you're not sure who they're going to choose throughout. But the
Hmm.
reason this is a spoiler, but the reason they make a choice is because one of them essentially attempts to coerce them into sex in a way that is
Oh,
really uncomfortable and really unpleasant. And I just remember thinking, we didn't need that. Like, they didn't need
no.
that to be the reason that they chose the other person. Also, big fan
Mm.
of why choose anyway. You know, if everybody loves everybody,
No. Mm-mm.
like, but like,
No, not for me.
but like equally, like the idea of you immediately vilifying them when up until that point this person had done nothing wrong. A lot of the
Yeah.
things that were like bullying was actually just them being irritated by this main character's lazy behavior. It was almost like they needed something that was completely irredeemable to then be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we're going to take a step back from that.
Mm.
Because I just don't think it's necessary. I think it's kind of lazy. And like I said, it's a massive trigger for me
I
as
also
well.
think in that example specifically, it undermines the character's ability to make a decision, and also like the other choice that they're making. Are they making it because that's the choice that they would have made, or because they were forced into it because they didn't
Yeah,
have another option anymore? Like I feel
yeah.
like it's, but I haven't read the book, so I can't say for
No,
sure.
no, that's
But
fair.
that's my
No, that's fair.
impression.
Yeah.
Well, the
So
other thing I
speaking,
was going to say,
go on.
actually, related to the book and what we were talking about, is that it actually surprised me that we never resolved the brother. Like, we
Mm,
resolved the dispute that they were having over the cabin, but we never actually resolved the relationship with the brother, which I think is. I mean, I guess I don't mind either way because it's more about the romance than it is about anything else. But I do think that that was an interesting choice to not only have a broken sibling dynamic, but have one that just doesn't
that
heal.
doesn't
Like they're
repair.
not a
Yeah.
great person. It's like toxic. And I do think that's powerful because I have had situations in my life where I've kind of cut family members off. And still to this day, like sometimes I lie awake at night and I'm like, oh, like, should I reconnect with this person? Like they are
Mhm.
family. Like at some point they're gonna be dead or I'm gonna be dead and then like this thing will
Mhm.
have never been resolved. But then I'm also like it's a really toxic situation though, and there's a reason
Mhm.
why I cut it off. So I think it was really interesting representation once again to include that relationship that doesn't repair.
Yeah. No, I get. Again, I completely agree because I think it's so easy to be like every book needs to be sewn up. Like every thread needs to be kind
Mm.
of have its end. Excuse me. I think having these other, especially because obviously it's part one of two. Part two is not going to have anything to do with her and her brother's narrative, but it is
Mm.
going to be about a sibling and other stuff going on. The idea that
I
that's still
think
going on
I
in the
forgot to
background.
look at the synopsis. Is it his sister?
Yeah.
and his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as they were talking about that in the kitchen and it said about like the age difference, I was like, oh, is
Yeah.
this what? Oh, because I only know that you can't read that one without reading this one, or at least like you
hmm
shouldn't, but I didn't actually know why, like what connected them.
Yeah.
Wow. You know
Yeah.
what? I actually kind of support it, apart from it's really weird reading from Eli's perspective of like he
Mm.
obviously views his sister as a child because
hmm
she's his little sister, and
Yeah.
then yeah, so that's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I mean, he's raised her for the last 7 years. And I also, there was a bit
Mm,
quite early doors where he was like, yeah, my sister hated me. She was like acting out, and I like sent her away for her own good. And she came back this woman and wasn't really like expecting her
mm,
to want to come back in and like move back into my
mm.
life kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, she's a teenage girl. That happens. Like, that's
Yeah.
not like out of the realms of possibility. But it'll be really interesting when it gets to that because he will not like
Mm,
he's too controlling. He is not going to be able to be like my baby sister is a woman now and I can allow this. Like that's
yeah.
definitely going to be a plot point. But I'm reading it with Kelly, who has read every Ali Hazelwood and all of the additional
Hmm.
stuff online and like is obsessed. So whether I enjoy it or not, Kelly will absolutely be like raving about it. I think it's her favorite of all of them, so she's really excited to get to
Oh,
it.
wow. Okay.
So
I
she's like looking.
I don't like this is my personal preference. Don't want to offend anybody. Age gaps give me the ick in terms of like if I thought about dating somebody who was 45, I'd be like, that's too weird. I can't do
hmm
that. But the one book that I read that had an age gap, I really enjoyed. So I don't know which way it's going to go for me. I think because I have enjoyed an age gap romance in a book before and it's Ali Hazelwood, I'll probably enjoy it. But it's
hmm
not one that I'm like super excited to get to.
No, that's fair. Well, I feel like a walking hypocrite because I hate age gaps and I am dating
Mm.
someone 8 years younger than me. So like I am in an age gap
Oh.
relationship and it that that freaks me out. I don't like it. But a lot of our friends are within like this 5 year like age gap, all kind of like mixed in together
Mm.
anyway. So I don't notice. Like when we're together, I don't notice. And then someone will be like, "Oh, do you remember when you trained to be a teacher? He would have been doing his GCSEs. Hate that. Hate that."
Oh.
And every now and then it does just like come back to me. It's like one of those things that you think about and you're like, I'm just going to sit and stare at the ceiling for 20 minutes because this is a thing that obviously I met
It's
him
like
years ago. It's completely different, but
I have friends who are like 4 years younger than me. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, do you remember this? Like when you were a kid? And they're like, no. And I'm like, how? Like what? Like
do we not just hold on to everything that happened to us? Because I do.
you're like you're literally a baby. Like what do
hmm Yeah.
we Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, but the what was really funny. So when we first met, because he moved in and we started dating like 8 months after he moved in. His mum is
Hmm.
married to someone 11 years younger than her, so she saw like how good friends we were becoming and was like, "You need Hannah in your life." And I was like, "He's very much younger than me, so probably not." And then yeah, as is like it's just bizarre. We've been together like 2 years now, and it's just I don't like thinking
I
about
mean,
it,
my
and I
dad,
really don't like reading it. But it's there. It exists.
my dad is 13 years younger than my mum. So
Okay.
age gap there.
hmm
I always say that Cougarin runs in my family. Curtis is only like 9 months younger than me, though, I think.
And yet still, you're like it counts.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like a cougar in training.
I like that. I like that cougar in training. Oh, that's cool. That's funny. So back to the book. What did you
Hmm.
think of like the money dynamic? Because the only book that I've read really where money and power in BDSM that wasn't Christian Grey, because let's not even, is the Casey
Uh,
Roberts where they're like buying like partners and like bringing them in through money and power. That's kind of the only intro I've
hmm.
had to that. And obviously, this is considerably healthier than those. But obviously, a lot of the plot points is around who has what asset, who has what money, her trying to buy her brother out, like lawyers being
Mm.
involved. They felt like real stakes to me, but that's probably because I don't know anything about property law. I don't know about you. How did you like
Yeah.
as a power dynamic and money being the facet for a lot of the conflict?
So that is something that I can relate to. I said it a lot in my videos. Like I grew up like really, really poor, like single parent benefit family, like you have to choose between having the heating on or having a shower because you don't have enough gas money for like both. And I related to like her things because she's got like food insecurity and stuff as well, hasn't she? And I related to that
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, although it manifested like in kind of different ways for me. Um, but also, you also have the estranged father element to this as well, and the
Mm.
whole like she wants to keep the cabin to be like feel connected to her father, which I personally, once again,
Mm.
have a similar situation, can't really relate to that element of it. But um in terms of the money thing, I thought that it was really interesting from the perspective of the fact that the love interest as well works in finance and, he's quite well off. He has his own house, he's a partner in a finance company, so he's probably got quite a bit of money. Something that really resonated for me in that regard is that he represented safety, not from a monetary perspective, but because her connection, like her mental connection to money is tied to food. Like her family were too poor to have food, and then her mother was also like whatever was going on with her that she wasn't equipped to provide for her children, or she wasn't like quite there enough to be able to provide for them properly. And I think that the way that Ali Hazelwood tied money and security and safety to like food I did find to be really interesting and the way that he like his ex fiance was a chef so like he could cook and he also had like all of this stability in her life which she will definitely appreciate because that's something that I always appreciate like over everything else is like because I have anxiety as well now is like safety and like feeling safe is like the most important thing for me so I liked how the kind of money element was equated to that and I also appreciated the fact that she was looking into the cabin and like how to be able to buy that because it also showed the progression of where she's been and where she's come from because as somebody who has grown up with like literally no money I will never ever 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 let myself get into that position so I've done everything that I can over the last like 10, 15 years to be financially stable which is obviously something that our main character kind of represents as well, with the fact that she's actually able to do this. And it's also interesting because you have that dynamic paired with her brother, who has obviously lived through the same trauma as her, but has gone like the way that it's manifested in him and the person that he is today is very, very different in comparison to our main character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely. And I think it's also really interesting that it's not something that Eli can't empathize with. Like, he talks about how
Hmm.
having to raise his sister and being kicked off of his postdoc and not having any money, and obviously that being the fuel for his revenge plot, but the idea being that he was
Mm.
never going to, he was never going to put himself in that position. He was never going to be
Yeah.
financial. And I think the fact that it's so open ended with how he's resolving her problems, because I have like a real bugbear about like the love interest rocks up with a bunch of cash and solves all of her problems with
Yeah.
that, which again is very similar to Check and Mate, where the main love interest there is like, oh, yes, I've technically been your boss this whole time, I've been the one
Yeah.
sponsoring you, and the kind of lack of transparency. I really
Hmm.
liked that one, he got Nonny to bring the thing to her and be like, this is a thing, like if you want to take this
Yeah.
forward, like we will support, we've got very good lawyers, and also that it was her, but it was still Rue's decision whether she wanted to pursue that with those lawyers being supportive, but
Mm.
also giving her the autonomy on, this is your money we're protecting, we're going to try and save your
Yeah.
patents, but then equally, obviously with that money dynamic, her completely trusting her boss, and her boss letting
Hmm.
her down at the last minute to protect her own financial security. I thought that was a really, really interesting take, that it's like, this woman is clearly her actual friend. This wasn't a betrayal that she
Mm.
had planned well in advance when she'd originally seen her at the science fair and thought, yeah, this is an idea that I'm going to cultivate and then take, in the same way that she probably didn't plan it with the others originally either,
Mm.
but that she's going to prioritize her financial security over the financial security of anyone else around her. Um, I thought
Hmm.
it was really interesting that it left, again, open ended. She's still the CEO. As much as she was the antagonist, she's not vilified to the point where it's like irreparable.
No. I think something that was interesting about her is that, well, not interesting, I guess, but something that resonated with me is I think the last discussion that they have, Rue goes to kind of confront her and she says that it's wrong to like do what she's done and it's wrong. And she's like, well, I didn't have a choice because otherwise, like, bad things would have happened to me. And Rue's like, well, maybe you shouldn't put yourself like it's bad things are happening to other people because of your actions. That's not an excuse. And she's like, well, get used to it because everybody's going to put themselves before you,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I feel like the older you get and the more life that you live and the more people you meet and the more relationships, like regardless of whether that's familial, like platonic, romantic, that you've had with people that you don't have anymore, it kind of you see that a lot of people are kind of out for themselves and it's
Mm-hmm.
like I have a lot of great friends and like I'm like a super like I will put my friends above myself and it's really sad to me to know that there are people out there who will kind of put themselves first and it's not like I want you to prioritize somebody else over your own well-being but if it means actually screwing somebody else over so that you
Yeah.
come out on top and like that's where it's like wrong and like you shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be doing this so yeah I thought that that was really interesting as well. And I felt like I could relate to her in the fact that she trusted this woman so much. She had like unwavering trust in her.
Mm-hmm.
So she hadn't even questioned. She hadn't questioned any of her motives. She hadn't looked too closely into anything because she had such trust in this woman who, at the end of the day, only really ever cared about herself because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's very clear that she didn't learn from her mistakes the first time around because she was willing to do it again to save herself. And it's like, well, how many situations can you can't keep blaming everything on everyone else. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't, how have you ended up in exactly the same situation twice where the only thing that you can think to do to get out of it is to screw somebody else over?
Yeah.
Like that's not accidental to me. Like it
No.
obviously it happens, but I feel like it's extremely rare to just coincidentally end up in this exact
Mm.
same situation twice and have no other way out of it.
And that's it, isn't it? It's the fact that it's twice, and on both occasions, the people are younger than her, in her duty of
Hmm.
care in some way, and beholden to her because of that. You know, you've got
Hmm.
three postgrads that she's mentoring, and the idea that she would
Yeah.
lie and be like, I've never met them before. And then you've
Mm.
got this other person who she's cultivating their career through her company. If she messes up, they all lose their jobs. Like that is
Hmm.
what it is. Like she has a lot of power and control and not a lot of respect of that. Like the idea that Eli is like, no, we come into businesses and we help them grow because that's 300 jobs that will disappear if we don't. Um,
Hmm.
which I, again, like, what a white knight finance guy. I've never met a real finance guy that's like that kind of keen. But I'm like, yeah, no, I can be, and I think it's also really validating that Rue is not the only one suckered in by that behaviour. Not just the three
Hmm.
that have had it happen before, but her best friend Tisha when she's talking to her. Neither of them want to believe this of Florence. Neither of them
Hmm.
are prepared to vilify her. Tisha is considerably more prepared to vilify her than Rue is, and the
Yeah.
fact that they're both betrayed by this behaviour. Um, you were talking earlier about the sister dynamic. I actually really liked that there is still a sister dynamic, but it's between Tisha and her
Mm.
sister as opposed
Yeah.
to the main character.
Yeah, they
Because
were
I love
fun.
that they're still bickering. It's like just going on in the
Mm.
background. I really liked. But yeah, I think it was really interesting to make money a facet of the plot without
Hmm.
overtly making it about who can make the most money in science, because obviously that's not really a thing
Yeah,
in
and like him
comics.
like swooping in to save her wasn't
Yeah,
a thing.
yeah,
And I think it also kind of underpinned the fact that his role in their relationship was supportive, like throughout
mm-hmm.
all of the different facets of it. Like he's like, I am willing to support you, but like on your own terms. Like you don't have to accept this help from me if you don't want to.
Yeah, absolutely. She had an out. And a lot of his perspective is, I can't do this too quickly or too loudly because she'll run away. Like, he's very
Mm.
conscious of how she'll react. And I really like that he's constantly thinking about that, because then it means when we're in her perspective and she's like, I wonder if he's thought about, and then he like finishes her sentence, it felt
Mm.
more like more authentic, because we know that
Yeah.
he's already thought 3 steps ahead on how she's gonna
Hmm.
grab it out of this situation in a second. Um,
I think reading this book, just coincidentally, I happened to read it after I'd read Deep End. So I was a little bit annoyed because both Deep End and Not in Love both have female antagonists where they're very different in terms of like the way it resolves, the different relationships. Like this obviously is a woman in a position of power, whereas in Deep End it's like they're on an equal level, like the two female characters. But I think it's just because obviously, like, there's in other Ali Hazelwood books, they have like male antagonists, especially because she talks a lot about like sexism in science. And it
Mm-hmm.
just happened that I read the two that have two female antagonists, like back to back,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, damn, like pitting women against each other. But obviously, like, if you look at like the big scope of Ali Hazelwood's work,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a recurring theme.
No, it
It
is
just
literally
happened that I
twice.
like
Yeah.
read the two back to back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Because I started with Love Hypothesis, and that one
Mm,
is a very overtly sexualized masculine antagonist,
hmm
in like the way that he treats people and what is antagonizing about him and things like that. So
hmm
I was like, oh, how refreshing! Like it's, but I don't know. I always have like this. I have this backlash. So my first reaction will be something that feels inherently this is societal, and then I'll sit there and I'll ponder it. So I wrote a because I couldn't let it go, a 2,000 word Substack about impractical magic yesterday because I could not
Wow.
get over the. I know, like I'm an intense human being. The thing that got me is the bad guys are called like the weirdos. They're over there in like chapter
Mm,
one, and the younger sister is like, you can't treat them differently just because they're different. Like they're still people, they're still doing magic, there's nothing wrong with them. And then they
hmm
actually turn out to be the bad guys. Like they're actually
Yeah.
the fact that they're different is wrong. And I was like, there's just this like undertone of xenophobia that just rubbed
Mm,
me the wrong way. And I was like, and now I need to just get it out of my system and just talk about it, and then I can leave it there and no one else needs to like worry about it. And I think that's kind of what happens whenever there is a female antagonist. Is like, did she
mm.
need to be a woman for her to be an antagonist? Like, have they specifically gone for a woman because it serves a purpose in the narrative, or was it just easier because of course women are going to try and put other women down type energy?
I do
Um,
think, thinking about it now as well, the difference between the male antagonists that I've read from Ali Hazelwood and the female ones is that the female ones in both instances have a close relationship with a female main character who is otherwise very isolated
mm,
and doesn't have a lot of like, doesn't have a support system, doesn't trust a lot of people, doesn't have a lot of friends. So I think that's interesting as well.
yeah, and I think it's also where in Check and Mate, that is what Greenleaf expects the female leader to be like. It's like, oh well, she's controlling this situation because she's trying to control me and like stop stuff happening, as opposed to in this one where that's actually happening. The
Hmm
assumption that women will stop other women from getting ahead versus when it actually happens. Um,
Yeah.
I think was really interesting to like read one and then this, because I think it meant that I really did not think Florence was going to be the big bad. I knew that the other three
No.
were convinced she'd done something wrong, where I was like, it's going to be like a misunderstanding, they're going to have to backtrack,
Mm,
and like it's already going to be like in the works, broken. So the minute that she was like, no, I did know who they were, and I have done this thing wrong,
yeah.
and the way that she finds out, um, I was just like, oh, that's kind of brutal to find out that this person that you care a lot about is the villain in someone else's story.
Mm,
Because I have experienced that, like someone that I care about being the villain in someone else's story and being like, oh, they're actually a horrendous person. But because they've never done that to me,
mm,
I've never noticed it. Because again, like I've been
yeah.
isolated with them, I've never seen that. That hit home. I was like, oh, that's
Mm.
a little too close to a real experience.
I was sus about her from the beginning because she very quickly tried to control the narrative and was like, "Oh, you're not going to talk to him, are you? Like, why? You should
Mm.
stay away from him. Why are you spending time with him?" And I'm like, "You
Mm.
just seem to like care a little bit too much."
See, I assumed that that was just Ali Hazelwood putting in like a little bit of conflict so that she can feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Because if Florence had been
Mm,
like, "Yeah, he's hot, crack on," then it would have been
mm,
like, "Where's the guilt?" Well, she would have been
mm,
the reluctance wouldn't have been there. This like idea that she's gone against her friend wouldn't have been there, unless there was a
yeah.
reason for them not to. Because like in Two Can Play, they are rival companies that have to work together. I was like, oh, it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's going to be like actually that it's just this guilt that doesn't need to be there type thing. And then, oh no, she's
Mm-hmm.
actually trying to manipulate her
Yeah.
friend. Brilliant. That's, yeah. So, but then I'm also really gullible, so I will just believe those plot points.
Me too.
I really liked the friendship dynamics on both sides. I really liked the kind of sisterly bond between Tisha and Rue. I thought that was really like fun and lighthearted, and I really liked the friendship dynamic of Sol, Noni, and Harkness. Um, I
I really
really
liked those
liked.
guys. They were cool.
I really like what an asshole Harkness was. I like that he was just like, no, like I don't want to do that. I respected that. I thought he was fun. I'm
I
looking
also
forward to
like
the
the
next book
dynamic
because
that
of
they
it.
have where he's like, I'm going to be an arsehole and we're all just going to accept it.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot that they all just accept about each other. Like Noni's like, yeah, I know he's still in
Hmm.
love with me, but I'm happily married. And Sol is like, yeah, I know my wife's crazy, but I'm happily married. And
Oh,
like
that's
that.
interesting actually, because I forgot that's something that we're going to get in the next book as well. Like his relationship with, she's called Manami, isn't she?
Yeah,
Because he's apparently still hung up on her.
yeah. And the fact they like haven't told him about the baby yet. I was like, is that going to be a plot point in the next book?
Yes, I forgot about that.
I also really like that the surprise pregnancy isn't the main character. What a relief! What a
Yeah,
relief that it's not the
yeah.
main character because they've got other
I'm
stuff to be getting on with.
interested actually because when they came for his birthday dinner and they all turned up and he forgot that they were coming, he said that they weren't drinking much alcohol. At which point I was like, "Oh, is she pregnant?" Because I knew that they were married anyway, and I assumed they didn't have kids because no one had mentioned. But then I was like, "Well, she can't be pregnant because they're still drinking alcohol, just not a lot." I'm like, maybe they're just being careful because like they're trying to conceive. But now I'm interested how much alcohol she was drinking, considering she
Yeah,
actually
and the
was
thing is,
pregnant.
she did make a comment about like trying for a baby. Oh well, we've been. I think she said
Yeah.
I'm not drinking because we're trying and we're enjoying
Mm.
practicing or something like that. So it is like hinted at because she then calls it back and she was like, "Did you not notice that I've not been drinking?" And he's like,
Mm.
no, because I have been drinking, which I thought was just really fun. But I love that Soul is such like a gentle addition. You can really tell that like
Yeah.
they were friends and then he started hanging out with them because of her. I was like, I
Yeah.
liked that kind of like addition dynamic because you know that Rue's then going to be that add-on, and then with the next one,
I
like
also
that
like
add-on.
he has that dynamic with them where like you have a group of friends who like really really click and they can be quite feisty, and then you have that one person who never says anything, but when they do it's usually like so on point. Like they'll
Yeah,
just insert a one-liner that's like so cutting and it's like, ooh.
yeah, yeah. You've reminded us why we shouldn't forget that you're here type energy of like,
Mm.
oh, that you've just read us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I really liked that. And I liked that they were very keen to involve Rue in their dynamic. There wasn't like a, oh, you're over there type thing. Which, to be fair, is a trope in Ali Hazelwood,
Hmm.
that the moment they're in a relationship, the friends are also like, join us. You're one of us now.
Yeah.
Um, I also like a key Ali trope is the pet dynamic. I don't know what Ali Hazelwood's issue with animals is, but in every single
Yeah.
book of hers, there is an animal familiar of some kind that the main character hates and grows to love. And I
Hmm.
really love the idea of Rue being like, there's a dog, and I don't know what to do with my hat because like, just the idea of this massive savannah just
That
being
was
like,
one
no.
element that I could not relate to. Like I was raised with dogs. Like sometimes I think I was raised as a dog.
Just we're all in this together. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think I went and saw. So I was raised with cats. We did have a dog. Loads of tiny, like we always had animals in the house. There was always animals in the house.
Hmm.
But I went to see a friend of mine, and they've got three cats. We've got three cats, and each cat decided to greet me in a very different way. One of them was fully prepared to just curl up on my lap. One of them sniffed me and hissed and ran away, and I was like, "That's fair. I've got cats.
Hmm.
That's what you can smell." And then another one jumped out from under the sofa, like nibbled my hand, like bit me, and then just kind of like had zoomies and like ran away. And like I was like, okay, fine, like this is what's happening, I guess. I always find it really funny in books where people are like, I don't understand how animal work, like why,
Yeah.
what are this kind of thing? Because I'm just like the idea that that isn't a natural part of everyone's daily life. I'm like, my cats run on a
Yeah.
daily basis. I came for their tummy. It's my own fault, you know. Yeah, I think I find
I
it
think
really
Kami
funny.
thinks that I am a dog because she's a nibbly dog and she likes to nibble on me and I'm like I'm not a dog. Like please stop biting my arm.
She's ready for you to start nibbling back. She's like, "This is how
Yeah.
we groom. Like, what are you doing? Like, catch up." Yeah. But I've really started noticing like certain Hazelwood tropes, and the animal thing tickles me
Yeah.
every time. Anytime an animal pops up in the net, I'm like, and what's going to be the issue this time? Oh, it's that it's massive. Brilliant. So I quite
Mm.
like that.
And he's
Um,
called Tiny. It took me a moment to clock that he was huge and called Tiny because I went
yeah,
Tiny, yeah, whatever. And then I was like,
yeah.
oh, Tiny, he's huge.
Actually, that reminded me. I need to send you a TikTok that I saw earlier because you grew up with. Was it with Rotties? Was it that you grew up with?
Hmm. Yeah.
There's a video that I saw literally 5 minutes before we came on that is like easily like 12 or 15 Rotties like charging out of this house, like teeth bare, like really excited. And then right at the end is a chihuahua, and all the
Oh
comments are
my
like, that's
God.
the boss, that's the one in charge. They're not running towards you, they're running from him. And I was like, that's, yeah.
Rottweilers are just like so goofy. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're literally the sweetest,
Mm-hmm.
biggest, scariest looking things that literally have no bite to them. They're
Mm-hmm.
just so soft.
Yeah. We were nearly a Rottie family. My granddad was given two Rottweiler puppies to dog
Oh.
sit whilst his friend was like living abroad, but didn't tell
Mm.
my nan that that was fully like they've moved and now these dogs are ours. My nan thought they were staying for two
Oh.
weeks. And after 2 weeks, when the dogs were still there, she was like, no, we cannot afford to keep these dogs. They need to find
Yeah,
a
they
new
do eat
home.
quite a lot.
Well, it was the other. Obviously, like being in the 70s, they only had like a small like gas heater for like the living room, and these Rottweilers got
Mm.
so big and they would sit so close to the heater that they would just absorb all the heat. So the rest of the house would be absolutely freezing, and the Rottweilers would just be asleep. And I was like, I kind of, I'm so here for that. But yeah,
I love
um,
Rossies.
what is it? They're just so cute. I think I really like the like marble black and brown patterns anyway. So I like Dobermans as well for like a
Mm.
similar reason. But I just think Rossies just always look so happy to see you. Like the where they've got quite like wide like staffy like faces. They just look so happy
Yeah.
to see you. I'm very keen. Um, so we've talked about like the general romantic dynamic, but obviously with it being a sex forward book and like the
Hmm.
BDSM elements. What was your thoughts on that and the fact that it was so because obviously this was her first erotica versus it being a kind of
Mm.
rom com. Is this one of the reasons it lost the stars was just how much that was the case, or was that a bit tame?
I think to be fair, I think it was pretty tame because like I've read Kate and Robert, and that's like
Mm-hmm.
I think Kate and Robert is kind of where I draw the line because have you read the I'm pretty sure I've seen you post a picture of these books, and I was actually shocked that you were reading them. The Disney ones,
Yeah, the Desperate Measures ones.
Desperate Measures.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Desperate Measures is fine for me, but then all of the stuff that's more like sex club focused, I'm like, I don't care about any like exhibitionism and like all of that stuff, like not
Mm-hmm.
really a thing. More like gentle subdom, like giving instructions and like
Mm-hmm.
light restraint is
Mm-hmm.
fine for me. It's when it gets more into like full like sex swings
Mm-hmm.
and like lots of different restraints and
When they
like
start bringing out
there's
like the toolkit
benches.
and you're like a,
Yeah,
a
that's when
trolley of
I'm a bit
stuff out, you're
like,
like,
this is just a little bit too much.
that's
Too
fair.
much
That's
going
fair.
on. So yeah, this was fine. And Deep End is also BDSM. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
Deep End's just a little bit more. I think when I read Deep End, because I mentioned it being BDSM, because I think it said somewhere in
Yeah.
it, a lot of people was like, oh, it's not really BDSM. Because, like people who actually know what BDSM is,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't mind saying I have no experience with BDSM. It's
Nope.
not something that I spend a lot of my time doing. So yeah, no, that was fine for me. It's more just that I'm such a fan of a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
And I like sexual tension more than I like smart. So
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes for me, when we get past the first sex scene, I don't want to read any more sex scenes. I'm
You're
like
like, I'm
done.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I
But
think
Ali Hazelwood, she does write smut that I like. So it's not like I'm skipping it, but in some series, especially at this point, like I just read The Legends of Thesmar, and after like the second sex scene in book two, I skipped all of them through the rest of the series. So I
Like
was like, I've had enough.
genuinely, I was like, I haven't even picked up book three yet because book two, I was
Yeah.
like, "Ugh, I'm kind of, I'm done. I want more story than I want this.
It does
Whereas
calm down, especially
okay,
given the way that like book two ends, but like they do resolve that pretty quickly, but like there's a lot less smut in the rest of the series. But by that point, I already lost interest in them because all they were doing was having sex and I didn't care.
well, the thing is, I watched your wrap up videos and I was like, oh, cool. I know what the plot is. I know how it's going to end. I know what's going on. I'm good. Like,
Mm,
I'll pick this up again maybe in 2 years' time when I've forgotten. But for now, I don't feel like I
mm,
need to like rush to get to it. Because yeah,
yeah.
I think what I like about Katie Roberts and what I liked about this book is both authors tie some kind of internal conflict that needs to be resolved, but it just so happens to be resolved through the process of
Hmm.
having sex. Rue is very sex forward, she's very sex positive. That's not in question.
Hmm.
It's not about her losing something or gaining something. It's about her accepting that you can have that and emotional attachment. Like that's okay.
Hmm.
We don't this doesn't need to be something that we're scared of. And like he literally makes a comment of like, yeah, sex with someone that you've had sex with before is often better because you get to know each other.
Hmm.
We can have a conversation first if you'd like that's acceptable.
Yeah.
I was very here for because I think then them pushing each other's buttons worked better because of that. And I think Katie, I'm gonna be fair,
Hmm.
Katie Roberts is the only one that, much like you, like that's my line. I'm not a massive erotica
Mm.
reader, and I find I've
No.
been like recommended like Sierra Simone and like other authors that are really popular, but it just doesn't hit in the same way because it's not the
See, I
internal
have.
conflict.
You should read Supplicant by Sierra Simone. It is
Okay.
a like very short novella. It's less than 100 pages. It might be like 50. And I can't remember what the dynamic is in it, but it is essentially like I don't know if one's a professor and one's like a student, but like university, or like one was one's mentor or something like that. But I know that they both have an interest in like religious iconography from the perspective of like art collectors or art they're like something like artistically focused, and the way that the language like really leans into that, so like it's so dramatically written while being an erotic novella. It is so good. But
Okay.
then I read Priest by Sierra Simone and I was like, no.
This is it, right? So that was the first Sierra Simone that I read, and I was like, what is everyone's like deal with this book? And like, I always feel like weirdly guilty if I read a book that everyone loves that I don't, because
Mm,
I then refuse not to say so. I'm not going to sit back and be like, oh, you loved that book? I'll just keep my trap shut. I'm like, I didn't like it for
yeah,
these reasons. And then I feel like I'm not like spoiling it for them, but I'm just like, just for
yeah.
balance, if you're going to spend 20 minutes telling me why you love this book, I'm going to spend 20 minutes telling you why I hated it. Like, just for
I
balance's
was
sake.
talking, I was talking to my best friend last night, and we were talking about Starside by Alex Aster, which I've just read, and I was like, "Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but I don't think it's very good." And he was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, like Fourth Wing, like I gave Fourth Wing 5 stars. I really liked it, but I don't think it's very good." And he was like, "Can you just stop?" And I'm like, "It's okay to like things, but just acknowledge that they're not very good. Like
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
do that." And he was like, "Could you just stop talking?"
Stop ruining things for me. No, that's fair. That's actually it's really. I haven't picked up any other books from Fourth Wing, having read Fourth Wing, because I enjoyed
Yeah, I've
it,
only read the first one.
but I was like, I don't need any more of this. But
Mm.
I've now been bullied because one of the girls that I work with, she's like obsessed with the books, and she's like, Hannah, I need someone that can just finish it in a weekend so I can talk to you about it. And I was like, fine, I will be that for you. And I started. I can't remember what it's called, the Iron one
Iron
yesterday, and
Flame.
I was like,
Yeah.
Iron Flame. I was like, yeah, I didn't need to pick this one up. I didn't need to do this. But yeah, so yeah, I
I'm
tried
waiting for
that, and
them
I.
to be published now because I
Mm,
thought it was a trilogy and it turns out it's 5 books. So I'm like, oh, guess I'll just wait longer then and then I'll read them.
yeah, the thing that kind of convinced me, other than her complaining, is there's a TikToker who is also a audiobook narrator who has just done 10 out of context in like his
Mm.
voice is just hilarious and just like you're bleeding, stop it. And I'm like, I haven't got to that bit, so we're gonna keep going. It's just yeah, silly stuff like that. But yes, I I think for me, the idea that the emotional, also the third act conflict, which again with romances I can get really bored of very quickly. I think I
Mm-hmm.
liked that the third act conflict is something that's in her purview to have an emotional invest in, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not actually their relationship. They don't break up because they're on different sides of this argument. They just need to come to terms with that they're on different sides, and then they're not
Mm-hmm.
really like that kind of resolution. I preferred, because I get really frustrated when there's like a miscommunication trope that's like, oh, he's had this information the whole time and didn't tell you, would have
Mm-hmm.
irritated me. But the idea that he's like, yeah, when would have been a good time for me to mention this to you, by the way? Because you didn't trust me,
Yeah.
you didn't know me. If I had said this to you, would you have believed me? Do you believe me
Yeah.
now? Like, I'm giving you all this information and you're still questioning it. Um, and the idea of her being like, oh, you lied to me, I trust no one again. And like her going back to
Mm-hmm.
square one, essentially, I thought was like, I quite liked that as a third act conflict, because sometimes I'm just like, all right, I'll just skip to the end because we all know where this is going. Like, we know this is going to be
I
resolved.
love it. Depends. I do really like a third act breakup, but I have to be invested in the relationship to actually care about it. So I have to feel like there's actual stakes because obviously we know that they're going to get back together by the end. So I have to be invested enough that I actually care. If it's just like a
Mm.
mid romance, then I'm just like annoyed and I'm like, can we just get to the end of this book now? Because I know that all of this conflict is just like not real.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh, this feels fake. Like, and I like it's so stupid because it's fiction. I get so hung up on whether that something feels authentic or not. It doesn't even have to be realistic.
Mm,
But if I'm like, if you're making me suspend my disbelief more than you've already established I need to suspend my disbelief, that's going to annoy me. I was like, I was already here, and
I'm
now something else I don't believe.
I'm actually worse in fantasy than I am with contemporary. Like I have to believe my fantasy. But if it's like a romance, I often like it if it's really dramatic and unrealistic because I feel like if it's not fantastical, then if it is super realistic, then why am I reading it? Like
It's fair.
it's not gonna hold my attention. Um but yeah. Oh, there's a scene in this book actually that I wanted to get your perspective on because it's the only scene in this book that I was like, I don't really like this. And it is the part where during sex, he makes her acknowledge that she has feelings.
Mm.
And I was like, this, I don't like it. I don't like that you've
No.
done this because he's put her on the spot in a
Mm.
position where she's incredibly vulnerable
Yeah.
to kind of almost coerce her into saying one thing or the other. Because if she doesn't say what he wants to hear, then she doesn't get what she wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And I was
think.
like,
Yeah, no, I think I'm probably going to be on the same length of you, which is just that it is
yeah.
coercive, which immediately is a red flag
Mm,
for me anyway. Um, I think I think what I found really jarring about it is she's like, I don't know how to articulate this, and I'm now
yeah.
stuck in this position until I learn how to articulate this. Like she hasn't been completely inarticulate the whole book. Like if she'd been like,
And he is very much like, I can't confront her with this because it'll scare her away. So it's
yeah,
almost like he traps her in a position that she can't escape and then does something that he knows will make her uncomfortable because it's something that he hasn't been doing because he knows it will make her uncomfortable.
yeah, it's almost contradicting his entire ethos for the sake of
Mm.
having this moment where she admits that she's in love with him.
Which there is a little bit of precedent to it as well, because leading up to that, his like perspective gets a little bit more like desperate. He's like at a point where he needs an acknowledgement of those feelings. So he's kind of getting to that point of like, I need to hear you say this or I need this to progress because it's actually hurting me now. The fact that like I want this to be something you don't want it to be. But then that still obviously doesn't excuse kind of like the way that it was
Yeah.
executed.
And it's also a little hypocritical because in his own head he's like, "Oh, whatever she gives me, I'll take it because I love her so much. Like whatever
Mm,
she's prepared to do. If she wants to never see me again, that if I become just her colleague, fine." And he's like, in his own
mm,
head, he's like, "Oh, this is a completely rational. I will take whatever she gives me." And then in like her perspective, it's like, "No, you need to say it. Like you need to say the thing."
mm.
And I do think it was a little, I guess, really, it was a little cruel to put someone who doesn't know how to associate positive feelings and positive like outward expressions of that. Like words of affirmation is
Mm.
not her love language. Like she's not here
No.
dropping compliments or accepting compliments particularly well. You know, like he says that she's beautiful and she's like, yeah, I know. Like it's like we're not
Mm.
even going to have that conversation kind of thing. The idea that he's coaxing her. I think the only thing that kind of redeems it is in the epilogue where she's like, yeah, I say I love you because I know it will do to him what he did to me. So it's like there is that
Yeah.
it equalized power imbalance. But it was one of
Mm.
the moments where I was sat there, I'm like, no, yeah, I don't. I think because it moves through it quite quickly, and she makes her
Mm.
decision quite quickly, or maybe I just read it really quickly. That made
I
it
think
easier to swallow.
one of the things that made it a little bit better, I feel, is that she didn't give him the answer that he wanted.
Mm.
And he was obviously okay with that because it wasn't like a, oh yeah, no, like I actually have feelings for you and I want to be with you. It was like, I don't know how I feel. And he
Yeah,
was like, fair enough.
yeah,
Because to be fair, but that to him, that's a win because it's better than this is just sex,
yeah,
which is what he wanted her to. Well, he didn't want her to acknowledge, but that's what he was trying to get her to
yeah, yeah.
acknowledge or talk about in that moment.
And I think partly I can see why it would lead up to that conversation, not necessarily in that situation, but the fact that she is constantly like, but this is what this is. Like, this is, I'm going to
Mm,
re-establish this boundary. And he's always been really respectful of that boundary. The idea that he's then going
mm,
to ignore that boundary for the sake of having some affirmation that he thinks he needs, I think that's the bit that I find jarring, because it's like, but
mm,
you know why that boundary is there. You know how insecure she is when it comes to romance and relationships and why she doesn't trust people. So the idea that you're going to push that boundary with that knowledge in this way is a bit icky.
mm. Yeah,
But yeah, so I think that it was one of those things where, like, again, talking about it, it's irked me more than when I actually read
yeah.
it. Like, sitting and thinking about it, I'm like, no, I don't like that. But at the time, I was just like, oh, this is the thing that's happening, and it's, yeah,
I I often do the thing. Have you read Dungeon Crawler Carl yet?
not yet. Not yet. It's on my list.
Right. So like you know that like that irks me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always that thing of like, is it me? Like, am I reading this wrong? Like, am I
Mm-hmm.
being offended by it for no reason? Kind of thing. So I think when you hear somebody else kind of validating your opinion, then it's like, okay, no, like my feelings were
Mm-hmm.
right on that. And I think that's the thing that irks me about Dungeon Crawler Carl because nobody else seems to be agreeing with me, and I'm like, no, like it's real. Like I'm not making it up.
I need to read things. I need to know what this is because everyone has told me to read it. And that's kind of why I haven't. Because I have friends that I trust their reading tastes. They have very similar reading tastes to
Mm,
me. They've recommended it to me. Or people where I know that having read books that they've recommended before or like watched their content before, they've liked it, I will like it. But then I've also had people that have recommended me books I've hated also recommend it to
mm.
me. And I'm like,
It's like a universally loved book. And I'm not saying it's not good, especially if you listen to the audiobook. The audio narration
mm,
is great. It just has like the odd sexist moment. And like there's this whole thing about Carl is like it's like a dystopian, like Hunger Games kind of thing. Like he's fighting against the system. And like the
mm,
thing is that he's this dude bro that's not a dude bro. And I'm like, but there are still dude bro things that he does and says.
mm,
And it's
yeah.
like, just because he's fighting against the system doesn't mean that this offhand comment he made about prostitutes is okay. Like,
Mm,
it was still an offhand
yeah.
comment about sex workers that did not need to be said. And I just don't hear anybody else talking about it. So it's like, am I being overly sensitive? But then I'm like, this, like, honestly, if it wasn't for like booktube and discussion and like discussion in the community, I wouldn't be this perceptive to things like this.
Mm,
So then
yeah.
it confuses me even more that I'm the only person I'm hearing talk about it when it's in the community
Mm-hmm.
that I wouldn't have been able to pick it up if it wasn't for this community that isn't
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about it. It's truly
Yeah,
confusing.
that's a twist. The thing is, like, so I recently read Rivals and Riders before that,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
which I've really loved. Like, they are a good time. They are really problematic. Like, they're so because they were
Oh.
written in the 80s.
Oh,
So
it's Chili Cooper, isn't it? Is it Chili
yeah,
Cooper?
yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of it, like, there's just like random moments of fat phobia that you're like, all right. Like, I didn't need to catch that stray. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Thanks for that. And like all the characters are very white in the book, in the same way that they are in
Mm,
Bridgerton, and in the same way that Bridgerton has been like
mm,
shondified. The Rivals TV
yeah.
show has like a far more like diverse cast, but it'll be like they'll mention the only gay in the group, but they'll call him like a slur, and I'm just like, again, like,
Yeah.
did we need that? But it kind of like you move through it so fast that I'm like, I want to recommend it to people because I'm like, if you like the TV series, the books are so honest. Like, as an adaptation, the TV series
Mm.
has done really, really well. However, with that in mind, here's a list of problematic things that happen, that you don't necessarily like need to. So, like, the Rupert Campbell Black in the first book he is the epitome of a chauvinist dude bro. Like, he just
Mm.
collects women to sleep with. He doesn't care about his wife. He's like horrible
Mm.
to her in a way that is deeply sexist and misogynistic. He essentially
Mm.
coerces her into a threesome she doesn't want to have. He hits her at one point, like there's like domestic abuse and
Mm.
stuff. And then he's the love interest in book 2. And I was like,
Ah.
where's the redemption arc? Like, this is just, we're just on book 2 and suddenly he's here. Um, and yet somehow Jilly Cooper will convince you that, yeah, he's all right though, really, because he's hot. So he's got abs for days, so don't worry about it.
I mean,
So,
isn't that how men have been operating for like decades? It's like it's all right because they're hot.
right? I mean, I've literally just started watching Off Campus, and I'm like, I actually like that Garrett in the series is more like, no, I want to do this thing properly. I want to do this thing respectfully. I want to do this thing. But like,
Yeah.
but then equally,
I
like,
mean,
in
I'm
a
a
very
Garrett
wrong
Grain stan
headspace.
through and through. So.
But then Elle Kennedy is another author that I've tried books of hers, and I will not read any more of her books. I can't do it. I
Oh, I
read
like Al Kennedy.
like, the thing is, loads of people do, and I love that she's found her audience. But here's the reason I won't pick up any more of her books. I can't even remember which one it was that I read. It's one of the summer ones where she like meets a guy on like spring break or
Is it
something.
Good Girl Complex?
Yes. So
Yeah, I only know that I haven't read it, but I only know it from the cover. It's like a beach kind of
yeah.
situation,
Yeah,
or like a
so
sunset.
it's it's very like cruel intentions in the idea that he's gonna get with her to like corrupt her
Mm.
because he thinks he can and he should.
Okay, I love
But
Cruel Intentions, and now I want to read this book.
the thing is, I was just like, I got so irritated with it. So I read it. I took it on holiday to my brother's wedding and was there for like 3 days. And my dad made a joke. The reason I bought it exclusively for that trip because I brought 3 books with me. And then my dad was like, "And what are you going to do for the rest of the time?" And I was like, "That's actually a really good point." And bought 3 more books, of which Elle Kennedy was one of them. And then I shared the room with my friend Shane. Now, Shane and I have known each other since we were 11 years old. And like we were the ones that like everyone thought we would get together, and both of us are deeply repulsed by that idea. So we're like in our like
Mm.
twin beds, like either end of the room. Hate reading this book, and he is trying to watch CrossFit videos before he goes to sleep, which really tells you everything you need to know about this guy. And I was getting so irate
Interesting.
that I was right, like what a choice. And I'm like piping up every 5 minutes, being like, "Ugh!" And now she's done this, and I hate the way this is done. And he was like, "Hannah, just put it down. Like, you're actually like frustrating me. Just put it down." Came over, took it off me, like no like bookmark, just put it down, and then went for an 8 hour hike the next day because he was like, "I've had enough." Like, I'm gonna get out
Fair.
of here. So I haven't picked up an Elle Kennedy book since because I don't want to lose more friends. I don't want to isolate myself in a foreign country ever again.
Valid.
So, but yeah, so I'm quite happy to just keep to the series in the same way that I read the first Bridgerton book, but we'll stick with series because I like the TV series, but the books they're just too dry. I find them so boring.
I
But
didn't
yeah,
like the first one, but I also don't really like Daphne at all. She's called Daphne, right?
she is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I don't like her at all anyway. So like in the book, she annoyed me more.
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, if you were gonna fan cast Eli Kilgore and Rue, who would your fan cast be?
My gut instinct, and I know she actually. Oh my god! I just realized that Rue's tall because all of
Mhm.
the Ali Hazelwood female main characters is like a short, tall thing. Which honestly,
Mhm.
Curtis is like 1 inch taller than me. You've met Curtis. He's not
I have,
especially
yeah.
tall, and I'm like average height. But I love the short tall thing. Like I love
Mm.
it so much, and I've just realized that that's not a thing. But I would. My gut instinct for Eli was a short king. I think he's
Okay.
short. Jeremy Allen White.
I could see it. Actually, do you know what I really like about that is the curly hair is a vibe. Like the idea that he's got that kind
Hmm.
of like messy, like rough. I think that would work. And the fact that when he has a blank expression, when he looks like pissed off, how neutral it is would just work really
Mm.
well. Yeah. No,
I
very
also feel
good
like
there.
Ali Hazelwood would support that as well because we all know that she is a fan of Adam Driver, who I think is incredibly unattractive. But I also think that Jeremy Allen White is one of those people who you don't look at him and go like, "Oh, you're hot." But
Mm,
like if you like, I'm a big fan of The Bear. I mean, Kami
mm,
is called Kami because that's his
mm.
character in The Bear.
Yeah.
And he's so hot in The Bear, and like
Mm,
he's a dick most of the time, and I'm like, I support it. I
yeah.
support it. I think Rue is more difficult though because I actually could have sworn that at the beginning of this book, somebody said that she has dark skin. Not necessarily like dark skin, but like not pale. And then I tried to like keep track of it throughout, and they never ever mention her skin ever again. But then also, because I've got this one, like she
Mm,
could be a woman of color on this cover.
yeah.
But then in the end papers, very much not. And then also on the original cover, she also doesn't look like a woman of color, but I could have sworn that it said something
Yeah.
about her skin.
I feel like he probably has talked about it in like it must be like chapter 2 when he's like describing what she looks like.
Like when he
Surely.
first meets her.
Or like when he's in the
So
car because he
like
says,
in my head, she's like not white. Whereas I think she's actually supposed to be white.
I'm trying to like
Um,
I feel like he does talk about her because he looks at her in the car and like notices that her hair is like twisted into
really
the
curly.
eye. Um, I feel like I want to find it now. Because she's also athletic as well, which I like. I like the idea that she's not fragile,
Yeah.
like so many. Again, like so many of the other, um, like main characters are. But no, I can't find anything. No, he talks about her slender throat, her long black hair, but I
Hmm.
can't see anything. Yeah, so yeah, he literally the eye color was different, but not the shape. Because he's talking about like the comparison to the brother, the height, the near black hair.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the bit where he sees her at the bar now, and I can't see any mentions of her skin.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I'm guessing that I misread it because on the cover of the original one, well, I mean, she looks white to me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
In
not
that
super,
cover,
like, it's not a
that's
super clear picture of her, but she looks white to me.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, but I pictured her differently, I think, because of this cover, and then also because I thought that I'd read that. So I don't know who I would cast for her.
I don't know many actresses that would feel tall enough to be her, but
Yeah,
I
and like
feel like
muscular.
yeah, but I feel like the I can't remember the actress's name, the one that's in Off Campus that plays Ali Hayes, with
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the tan skin, curly hair. I feel like that would work. Or what's her face that plays Maddie in Euphoria for like the dark kind of like sultry standoffishness. Demi, is it
Ooh,
Demi something?
that's a good choice. I can't remember her name. Maddie. And it's of course not telling me who plays her on the beginning bit. I love her as well. Alexa? Alexa Demi?
Yes, that's
Demi?
it, Alexa Demi. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know who I would choose. Who would you choose for Eli?
My first thought was Aaron Taylor Johnson, probably for very similar reasons that
Oh,
you've gone for,
that's not.
because the curly,
And I
the
don't think that he looks incredibly dissimilar to Jeremy Allen White, just like different
no,
hair
which is why
color.
when you
Like
said it, I was
stature, I would
like,
say very, very similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
could be twins, could be twins. But yeah, I
And
feel
then,
like
you
it
know,
needs
if you can't find the perfect actress who's tall, if you've got a short king, she doesn't have to be tall because she'll look tall anyway.
exactly, exactly, and also like actors walk on boxes all the time. You know, the things that they do behind the screen, we can work it out. I
Yeah.
do like the idea that she's taller than him. That's my headcanon now, is that she's actually taller than he is. But
Yeah, because, well, I mean, tall for a woman doesn't always mean actually like tall,
no,
as well.
no, no, exactly. That
Because
just
it
means
never
slightly
actually
taller than
said what his
average.
height was. You know what, actually? It never said what height he was because it didn't do the short tall thing. It just said that she's about an inch, like a handful of inches below his eyes. Is what
Yeah,
was said, something like that. Like it was
like
a really random
that.
description.
He's broad enough and tall enough to be domineering to her brother, because when he confronts the brother in the hallway, the brother like backs down almost immediately, and he's able to
Yeah,
hide what he's saying through the peephole. He's tall enough for that to happen. But to be honest, you could be 5'10" and that would be the same.
that's true. And I mean, Jeremy Allen White has some amazing biceps.
As does Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Mm. Which is always funny in The Bear because it's like he's a stressed chef that smokes and is at work all the time. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're clearly working out though because your biceps are huge.
To be
When
fair,
do you
if
have the
it's
time?
he's just lifting produce. He's just carrying vegetables
Sacks of
constantly.
potatoes, yeah.
Those are working muscles, and I will not have anyone tell me different. To be fair, so my partner works at a pub, and when he
Yeah.
got the role as like the bar supervisor, basically, he had to move a lot more kegs. His arms did just like grow overnight, and I was like, I love this for me. Like, where did these come from? So I believe
Yeah,
it. I
Curtis,
believe he does.
surprisingly, because he's very slim, but he has like bicep muscles. And I'm like, this isn't fair because I work out and I just have like bingo wings, but let's
Like,
go.
but this is it. I
It's
go to the
fine.
gym more often than he does, and yet somehow that just happens. That's just not fair.
Yeah.
Were there any other little tidbits that you wanted to discuss about this book?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. I mean, I feel like we were pretty thorough, to be honest. There was not
Yeah,
much
we've done
left.
well.
Yeah,
For
okay.
a contemporary romance as well, I'm impressed at how much we've covered.
I think there was a lot in it. I think that, like, in comparison to Love Theoretically, that was the key issue. Was I was just like waiting
Mm.
for more. I liked that this relationship moved quicker. I liked that the conflict with her work specifically seemed to develop more. I liked the fact that she knew who she was and she was prepared to be that person for herself, and then everything else was then a
Mm.
development from that, not her living with this anxiety that then hinders her in a particular way. Like, she's clearly very good at her job, and is clearly going to
Mm.
continue to do very well in her job. That was never in question. Which I think for a couple of the other Ali Hazelwoods, it's the umming and ahhing of, are they actually able to achieve what they want to achieve? She's already done that. Like, she's still working on
Yeah.
this amazing resource to keep produce going for longer. The rest of it is just kind of her developing that, which is quite cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, cool. Right, well, I will let you go and let everyone else go then. The next, I don't know when the next live show will be, but the next book that we're picking up is Problematic Summer Romance.
Ooh.
You haven't read this one yet because you hadn't read that one before,
That's
right?
the only are you doing Bride and Mate as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't read those and I haven't read all of the novellas, but that's the
Yeah.
only contemporary like full-length book that I haven't read. No.
Interesting. So yeah, we're doing this one next month. Like I said, this is Kelly's favourite. So I have like very high expectations to enjoy it. Bride and Mate, I'm doing September and October in time for Gothtober. So
Oh,
I'm
that
really
makes
looking forward
sense.
to
That
that.
makes sense.
I like my spooky, what can I say? But it's been really, really lovely to chat to you. I've really enjoyed talking about this book with you.
Thanks
And
for
I hope
having
everyone.
me.
Is there anything else you want to shout out before we go?
I don't think no, I don't think
Cool.
I've got anything. Nothing exciting happening. No, like and subscribe for the regular content.
Always. Always. Okay, well, it's been great, and I will see everyone very soon.